I have worked in hospitals and healthcare a very long time, and I'm going to share with you a few things about hospitals, nurses, doctors, things that will probably shock the hell out of you. The first one, when you go to a hospital, if something ever goes wrong and they have to call a code on you, meaning they have to get someone to come in and start CPR and all the things, just know that 9 times out of 10, the doctor is not who's going to save your life. It is the nurses. The nurses run codes. The nurses saves lives. It is not the doctors. Actually, 9 times out of 10, the doctor is the very last one to even get to a code. It is the nurses who run the codes. It is the nurses who save your life.
I'm a doctor and I have to say I mostly agree. In any code situation, that is when someone loses a pulse, the person who saves that person's life is who starts CPR immediately. This could be the nurse, this could be the tech, this could be the RT, this could be anybody on the hospital floor that saw the patient lose a pulse and started CPR immediately. That generally is not the physician. Most hospitalist doctors have anywhere from 14 to 20 patients that they see a day, and they're all across the hospital. So the chance being that the doctor was there right at the moment which the pulse was lost would be pretty unlikely. So it is correct that the nurses generally are the first ones to the bedside and usually start CPR immediately. But again, whoever starts CPR the fastest, as long as it's effective CPR, would be the person that potentially saved that person's life. And until the physician gets there, it is usually someone else on staff that knows ACLS that will be running the code. Where I tend to disagree a little bit is that once the physician gets there, they should be the one who runs the code, but that doesn't always happen, but it should be done that way. One example would be my first week of being a resident. My first week ever being a doctor, I was in the ICU. A code was called, I was the first physician there. This would be the first code that I ever ran, and there was a very seasoned nurse standing right next to me. This nurse, being so kind, says, "Tommy, I know this is your first week as a doctor, and I know this is your first code. I will help you out." So as the code was going on, they were kind of instructing me and making sure I was doing the right things, running the code correctly. I am forever thankful for that seasoned nurse for helping me in that moment. Fast forward 4 years later, a very similar incident happened, and there was another code, and that nurse was in the room as well. I ran the code from the start to the finish, and when I got done, that nurse had told me that they thought that was the best code they'd ever seen ran. So do nurses run codes? It may happen. If the doctor is present, they should be the one that runs the code. To summarize that first point again, whoever starts effective CPR the fastest is the one who would help save the life. But everyone on the team is essential and important to saving the life of the patient in a code setting.